Hello everybody, we're coming to you from Kilimanjaro Safaris.
Kilimanjaro Safaris. My name is Eden. I'm going to be your safari guide today. I do have a couple of safety reminders before we make our way out there. Please remember to remain fully seated at all times, even if we have to stop, and keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside of the truck. This is a very real truck, and I really am driving it, which means it can get kind of bumpy out there. Now, there is an animal spotting guide up above your heads there to show you all the animals we may or may not see out there today. We're not going to see all of them, but we tend to have pretty good luck, especially when I'm driving. I do recommend having your cameras out and ready to take as many photos and videos as you would like of all the animals out there. Unfortunately, they will not stop and pose for you. Now here we go into our first stop, which is the Aturi Forest. And the forest is home to animals that rely on camouflage to survive. So keep your eyes extra peeled as we go through here, because some of the animals can be really good at staying hidden. Now over on our right hand side, I do see some zebra party pants poking out. That is an okapi over there. Now they may look like zebras, but they are actually the closest living relative to the giraffe. They have long prehensile tongues, just like giraffes do, that they use to grab their food out of trees and bushes. There's also a very large black and white bird here on our right-hand side called a saddle-billed stork. That's a female. You can tell from her bright yellow eyes. They can be up to 5 feet tall, and their wingspan can be up to 9 feet, which is almost the length of the canopy above your heads going left to right. So very large birds. Now, black rhino here on our left-hand side. Black rhinos can be up to 3,000 pounds. You can tell it's a black rhino not because of the coloring, but because of the pointed prehensile upper lip that it has. Black rhinos are browsers when it comes to food rather than grazers, and they use those pointed upper lips to grab their food of choice. Now I do want to point out up on the hill on our right hand side, that very large nest, that belongs to the saddle-billed stork we saw back there, so that large black and white bird. It looks like we're going to see the mate, the male, coming up here on our right hand side. He's walking around a little bit further up here. When saddle-billed storks mate, they do mate for their whole life. There are 2 different types of antelopes here on our right hand side as well. The coppery colored antelopes are called bongos. Bongos are nicknamed the ghosts of the forest because they are so rarely seen. And the tan colored antelopes are called greater kudus. They are females, you can tell because they don't have any horns. Only male greater kudus grow horns. And here's that male saddle-billed stork here on our right hand side. Alright, we are heading out of the forest through here. We're going to head towards the Safi River up ahead. The Safi is going to be home to animals that like to hang out in watering holes, so we'll keep our eyes peeled down on the water as we go by, especially for any ripples or shadows. Both can be good indicators there might be animals below the surface. Here on our right-hand side, I do see quite a few pink-backed pelicans down there. They get their name from their lovely pink coloring on their back, which does get brighter during their mating season. There also are a couple of Nile hippos down there on our right-hand side. They're hanging out beneath the surface. They kind of look like big rocks. Hippos do spend most of their time fully submerged in water. They can hold their breath for up to several minutes at a time. They're also known to fall asleep under the water, and their bodies just know when to come up for air. The word hippopotamus translates to river horse in Latin because rather than swim, they sink to the bottom of their watering holes and they glide or gallop across the floor, hence the name river horse. Now, there is one here on our left-hand side outside of the water, which is pretty rare. You can see just how big they can get. They can be up to 5,500 pounds, which is even bigger than the black rhino we saw back in the forest. Now this one looks kind of pink. Their skin secretes an oily substance that acts as a natural sunscreen for them, but it does have a red tint to it. It's commonly known as blood sweat, but it's not blood, it's just their oily substance that helps them not get sunburns. Alright, now I'm coming up on a bridge here. As I go over the bridge, keep your eyes peeled down below. You might see some Nile crocodiles down there.
Look at that.
Nile crocodiles are the largest of the crocodilian species in Africa. They can be up to 16 feet long, which is as tall as a giraffe, and they can weigh up to 500 pounds. They are opportunistic eaters, which means they can eat up to half of their body weight in one singular sitting. That's up to 250 pounds of food in one go. But they can also go up to several weeks at a time without eating any food at all. Female crocodiles are also known to be very excellent mothers. When they lay their eggs, they'll hold them in their mouths and gently roll them back and forth to encourage them to hatch. And then once those baby crocodiles hatch, Mom will let them ride on her back for extra protection. You may have noticed they're being pretty still down there. That is because they have dermal receptors on their undersides that they use to track the movement of their prey through vibrations. So they stay nice and still most of the time, tracking the movement of their prey. They don't usually pounce until they have the best shot at catching them. Alright, now we are about to make our way down into a very different ecosystem called the Savannah. Unlike the foresty areas we saw back there, the savanna is nice and airy and open because the animals that live down here rely on speed and agility to survive. So they like those nice open spaces because it gives them plenty of room to run and jump. The savanna is home to some of the more iconic animals. We might see some giraffes, maybe some zebras. We'll keep our eyes peeled and see what we can find. I do see some giraffes right off the bat here. They're kind of in a tricky spot. They're on our right-hand side, hanging out in the trees over there. Giraffes are the tallest animals in the world. They can be up to 20 feet tall. And just like the okapi we saw back in the forest, giraffes have long prehensile tongues. Prehensile means grabby or finger-like. Once again, everyone needs to remain fully seated at all times. I need everyone to be fully seated. Giraffe tongues can be up to 18 inches long, which is the average length of your forearm, so your elbow all the way to your fingertips. And they use those long tongues to grab their food out of tall trees. They do spend approximately 20 hours of the day eating. Now, looks like I see some sable antelopes potentially coming up here on our left-hand side. They have pointed backwards horns, and they have that dark coppery sable-y coloring. The sables are the official emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve because they are known as a symbol of strength. 9 times out of 10, when faced in a fight or flight scenario, sable antelopes will choose to fight. Now, hopefully we'll get a more up-close look at those giraffes as we keep on going through here. They usually gather together in groups called towers of giraffes. And I also see some big cattle over there on our right-hand side. Gonna get a good look at them as well as we go around the curves here. They are Ankoli cattle. You see one adult male, which is called a bull, and a couple of younger females. Those are cows. They have great big horns, which can get up to 8 feet from tip to tip. And they look like they might be kind of heavy, but they have a honeycomb-like structure inside, which keeps them nice and light and acts as a built-in cooling system for them. When blood flows through their horns and through that honeycomb-like structure, it can cool down their body temperature. Now it looks like the adult bull is going to be the one that's going to be pretty close to the truck over here on our right-hand side. You can get a glimpse of just how big those horns can get. Now there is the same giraffe hanging out here on our right hand side, still kind of in a tricky spot. Might have a better view from up ahead as we curve around here. Now there are also some gray colored antelopes here on our right hand side. Those are wildebeest. Wildebeest translates to wild beast in Afrikaans, and they participate in the Great Migration, in which 1.5 million of them gather together every year to migrate up to 1,000 miles, which is a lot of walking. Alright, now as we pull up past this bush here, you might get a better view of that giraffe from this angle. There they are, much easier to see. Looks like they're using that long prehensile tongue to grab a snack. Now it looks like the rest of the tower is over here. These are all the side giraffes. You can tell from the shape of their spots, but each giraffe has a unique spot pattern, just like you and I have unique fingerprints. And the fuzzy looking things on top of their heads are called ossicones. They're part of their skull structure. Now there is one giraffe coming up here on our right hand side. Right now he's bent over. He's a little bit smaller than all the rest. That is a baby giraffe over there. When giraffes are born, they're born at about 6 feet tall. And their first lesson in the world is gravity. Mom gives birth standing up, so they drop about 6 feet onto the ground when they're born. Do not touch my truck, ma'am. Do not do it. Baby giraffe here on our right hand side. There's also an African eland over here on our left hand side, 2 of them, tallest and largest antelopes on the savannah. They can be up to 6 feet tall at shoulder height, and they can jump up to 6 feet in the air. Your seats are about 6 feet off of the ground, so they could jump into the truck with you if they really wanted to. They have those giant flaps of skin beneath their chins called dewlaps, which help them stay cool on hot days. Alright, now the savannah is shaped by the animals that live here. And we're going through some knocked down trees here, which can be a good sign that the bulldozers of the savannah are nearby. Looks like I do see a couple coming up here on our right hand side. They are African elephants. I see 3 of them. Elephants can be up to 13,000 pounds, which is huge. They have those big, beautiful ears, which have lots of blood vessels in them. When elephants get overheated, they can flap their ears back and forth, and it will cool down their body temperature. A couple of mandrills on our left hand, largest monkeys in the world. They can be up to 100 pounds. They are known for those bright red and blue facial markings, which get brighter as they get more excited. They also have very small, sharp teeth. They are known to smile at one another in a friendly gesture. However, if a mandrill ever smiles at you, I would maybe go the other way. Now, I do know of a shortcut up ahead that might give us a little bit of a better view. Oh, road closed. They did not tell me about that. I guess we'll keep going around the long way here. I normally take that shortcut back there though, so I'm not really sure where we're going. Guess we'll figure it out together. Let's see here. Oh, another bridge. This bridge doesn't look old or rickety or... I think I'm just gonna see you guys on the other side. Good luck. We made it. I was not worried at all. Okay, keep on going here. Maybe we'll find some more elephants. We are going through a red clay pit here, which can be a good sign that more elephants are nearby. It may sound kind of silly, but elephants are known to eat red clay. It has lots of minerals in it that can be very beneficial to an elephant's overall health. So kind of like how you and I would eat a multivitamin, elephants come by and they eat that red clay to stay healthy. I'm not seeing too much movement through here. We'll keep on going. I do know of a watering hole up ahead that might give us a little bit of a better view. And we saw 3 elephants back there. Elephants gather together in groups called herds. And those herds are run by the matriarch of the group, which is the oldest female elephant among them. When female elephants are born, they stay with their mom and their herd for their whole life. However, when male elephants are born, they stay with their mom until they hit their teenage years. Then they wander off on their own to live by themselves. If they don't go willingly though, mom will kick them out of the group. Herds of elephants are a girls-only club. Alright, I found that watering hole. I'm gonna go through it. But I'm gonna go pole pole, which means very slow in Swahili. Alright, coming up around the curve here on our left-hand side, I do see some flamingos. These are greater flamingos. They are the palest pink of the flamingo species. And when they hatch, they actually come out gray. It takes about 2 years for that pink coloring to come in. And it comes in through their diet. They eat mostly brine shrimp, which has lots of beta-carotene in it. And that beta-carotene is what gives them that beautiful pink color that they have. Another elephant poking out just above the flamingos here, walking into view. There she is with those lovely ivory tusks that they are so sadly heavily poached for. Those ivory tusks are just their teeth that grow out past their lips. Those elephants have those long trunks which serve them a variety of purposes. They use their trunks to grab their food, drink their water. They're even known to fling dirt on their backs. Elephants have very sensitive skin and they can get sunburnt just like you and I. So they fling dirt on their backs to act as a natural sunscreen. Alright, and we've made our way into East Savannah here. We'll keep our eyes peeled. I think I see some movement coming up here on our left-hand side. Let's see here. Alright, I thought I saw some movement over here on our left-hand side. Where did she go?
What was it?
Let's see, maybe a little bit further here. Ah, there she is. Cheetahs. Fastest land animal in the world. They can run up to 60 miles per hour in as little as 3 seconds. Looks like she might be eating something over there. They can run up to 60 miles per hour in as little as 3 seconds. Unlike other large cats, cheetahs do their hunting during the day. So they have those black teardrop-shaped markings on their faces to keep the sun out of their eyes while they hunt. They also have semi-retractable claws, which kind of work like football cleats or soccer cleats do, to give them traction while they run at those fast speeds.
Não pode, ninguém tá levantando.
Here on our left-hand side is a rock formation called a kopie. Sometimes predators like to hang out on copies. It gives them a nice height advantage out on the savannah. I do see some ears poking out here on our left-hand side. A couple of lions up there. There she is. She just stood up for us. Now, unlike the cheetahs we saw back there, lions do their hunting at night, and there's the male with that nice fluffy mane. Lions are what we call crepuscular, which means they are most active at dawn and dusk. But it's pretty cool to see them out and about right now. Lions are one of the only big cats to gather together in what we call a pride and hunt cooperatively. And when they gather in those prides, the females do most of the hunting while the males stay back and watch the cubs. Alright, now I do see some pretty large burrows coming up here on our left-hand side. They look like they might have been made by warthogs, which are the largest burrowing animals in Africa. They do spend most of their time in their burrow, so it makes sense that they just emerged from their burrow there. 4 tusks, 2 on top and 2 on the bottom. And they use those tusks to dig their burrows for protection. They back into their burrows at night so they have an easy escape route in case predators come by. Now there is a water buck over there, but really tricky spot. She's laying down in the grass. They have heart-shaped noses and nice shaggy coats. And like the name water buck suggests, they're not usually found too far from a watering hole. Now, I didn't see any ostriches through here, but I do see some ostrich eggs over there on our right-hand side, those big yellow ones down there. Largest eggs in the world, they can be up to 3 pounds, which is the equivalent of 24 chicken eggs. And they are extremely sturdy. They can withhold weights of up to 300 pounds before cracking. Alright, we've made our way into the Magadi Glen, which is home of the Warden's Post. The Warden is known to have animals out and about. In fact, I see some Nigerian dwarf goats here on our left-hand side. As you can tell from the one in the back of the Jeep there, they are very talented climbers. They like to climb all over everything. And despite their small size, they are fully grown. Now I do want to point out that yellow triangular dangling box in the Warden's Post. That is called a bee box. And the Warden has bees because of a project done by scientists from Disney's Animal Kingdom. It was brought to their attention that farmers in Africa, specifically in Kenya, kept running into the same problem of elephants coming by and trampling over their crops, which was no good for the farmers because they needed the money from those crops to live, and in turn the elephant population started to decrease. And the scientists here wanted to help, so they did some research, and in their research they discovered that elephants are scared of bees. They have that very sensitive skin and they do not like to be stung. So in order to safely keep the elephants away from their crops, the farmers in Kenya started incorporating beehives or bee boxes on their farms. And it worked. The elephants stayed away, the farmers got to keep their crops, and even got additional revenue from the honey they got to sell. And the world got more bees. It was a beautiful, happy ending had by all. And that research called the Elephants and the Bees Project is just one example of what is funded by Disney's Conservation Fund, which is a fund put in place by Disney to help our wild friends and wild places. And if you were inspired by any of the animals you saw out there today, you can donate to that conservation fund at any of our merchandise locations here in Animal Kingdom. And Disney will match your donation penny for penny, because every little bit counts when you're trying to make a difference. And we are making our way back into Harambe Village here, which means our safari is coming to a close. Here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye. Saying goodbye is far too sad and far too final. Instead, we like to say Kwaharini, which means to go well. So Kwaharini out there, friends, go well, go wild, and most importantly, go out there and make a difference.
Yeah, we're going to be wrapping up our broadcast for right here. Thank you all for joining us. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We'll see you
Once
guys
again,
later
my
on.
name is Eden from California. Asante Sana for riding with me today.